Well, hello. The mask is back, and we're gonna keep it quick because this is a two card recap because I'm behind on this one and on the next one, and I still gotta make predictions for UFC 314. Been doing a lot of tape review on that, on those fights, on those fighters, and yeah, let's just jump into it. Now, first of all, you guys are gonna have to start calling me the Mystic Mask, okay? Because this is actually 12 and 0 in picks. I don't care that Erceg technically lost. He won 3-2 rounds, 2, 3, 4, I think. Yeah. Basically just out jabbing Brennan Moreno, and then he was landing some kicks, but not much. But doing more than Moreno. Mostly he was missing on the overhands. That's basically what I'm gonna say on that main event, just to keep things quick and concise. And also, if I sound different, I'm a little sick, so just keep that in mind. And Macro Medros and Austin Hubbard. This was basically pretty clear. Macro Medros won round one and three. Hubbard won round two. It was basically the third round that was the up in the air one, and the reason why Medros got two of the judges to give him that round was because he landed an elbow that cut Austin Hubbard on the side of the head. So yeah, that's how he got that win. And as I predicted, Jamal Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. Gabriel Miranda has these slappy, not really good torque hooks. He's just got these sort of slappy hooks, and Jamal Emmers capitalized. Gabriel Miranda, his only thing he has is some jujitsu, and when he actually got him to the ground, it wasn't actually successful in any. It was. He got the back. I think he almost got a choke, but I forgot the specifics of how he slipped out, but I know Jamal Emmers slipped out, and then from there he just kind of battered him on the feet with straight punches. Beautiful right hand from Jamal Emmers. And Rafa Garcia versus Vink Pichel. Vink Pichel, yeah, I actually think that there's a decent argument for him to win round two and three, but I do think that Rafa Garcia won rounds, I think it was one and three, or one and two, actually. Um, or I don't know. I think one of the judges gave him 30-27. I think it's 29-28. I think that's a little much. I think actually the second and third was a lot closer than what people think, but yeah, it's a good win for Rafa Garcia. Vink Pichel, it's not a great win, let's be honest. He should retire. Vink Pichel, I'm saying. And Lupi Godinez and Julia Palastri. This is actually, unironically, one of the best fights of the card, if not the fight of the card. It's pretty crazy how a women's MMA fight is the fight of the night, or fight of the card, whatever. Lupita Godinez was mostly winning off the grappling and the wrestling. I was surprised to see that from her approach here. Even though with this fight specifically, I didn't get like the specific way she would win. I said she would win off boxing mostly. I did get a lot of things that were. I got six perfect, and Erceg would have been seven if they actually got that right. And a lot of these were also like pretty close, like Shirez submission and then Torres KO. It wasn't the right round, but I did insanely good on this card. So you guys got to start calling me Mystic Mask, okay? Lupi Godinez, yeah, she definitely did great using her wrestling in the first two rounds, and then in the third, it was kind of a toss-up. I wasn't really paying attention to the scoring at that point. I was mostly just focusing on the action because that really saved this fight. The first two rounds were kind of nothing, and then the third round was insane. I personally gave the third round, watching it back to Julia Palestri, but it was such a 50-50 round. I'm actually not mad at all. Lupita definitely won the first two, though. And Miquel Costa versus Christian Rodriguez. Um, I was right in some areas and wrong in some others. Mizuquel, I definitely expected him to be better in the jiu-jitsu, Christian Rodriguez to be better in the wrestling, and that was true. But I was surprised that Mizuquel Costa actually did decent in the boxing, and I believe it was the second round, and then he kind of just gassed in the third round and was giving up takedowns and was just kind of a foot off the gas, if you will. And yeah, he basically just won the first two rounds off of doing a little better, just enough. Like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, complete domination. No, it was a close rounds in the first two, but he did just enough. He did just enough, I would say, in the first two rounds to win those. And then in the third, it was a clear Christian Rodriguez, but it wasn't a 10-8. Um, Jose Medina and Abite Atebe Gautier. Yeah, this was a really dominant performance. Did I pick decision? Yeah, I picked round one actually, KO. I expected that. Jose Medina, I don't know why he signed in the UFC. As far as I'm aware, he's actually coming into UFC with a loss, kind of similar to that guy that fought Torres Finney from Switzerland in the next card that I'm going to talk about in the same video here. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why he's in the UFC with a loss. People are talking about this guy Ateba like he's a future champ already. Listen, he beat a contender series bum. He beat a guy who shouldn't have been in the UFC. He was a contender series guy, and he's just put in here to make an impressive KO for Ateba. I don't really see the hype. Yes, he's more calm and sophisticated than a Francis Ngannou, but you should be if you're middleweight. Like, what? Obviously. And Kevin Borjas versus Ronaldo Rodriguez. This was the upset of the card, and I got it, and I'm so happy I did. Even with the main event, I'm happy I got that, but nobody's gonna give credit on that one, so I'll at least take this, okay? Everybody was picking Ronaldo Rodriguez, except I think Kenny Okoye. Kevin Borjas, if you actually watch the tape, he looked so slick in the boxing, his one-twos. Even against Joshua Van, who's also a really sick boxer. He actually had some decent moments, and Ronaldo Rodriguez, he just isn't that good in the boxing. He's just not. He'll resort to overhands mostly. Sometimes he'll throw hooks, but he doesn't have good jabs. He doesn't have good straight shots, and he'll rely on spinning stuff as well, like a spinning head kick. He did a few times to try and land on Kevin Borjas to try and get that KO when he was down on the scorecards, but he just couldn't get it. I'm very proud of this one, and I have the best underdogs. What can I say? David Martinez and Simon Oliveira. David Martinez, he kind of reminded me of that other guy that John Silva beat by decision in the Contender Series. I forgot his name, but he's that other guy that people have been saying he kind of has that Ilia Topuria style. David Martinez also kind of reminds me of that. That sort of low boxing stance where it's kind of patient, waiting for other guys waiting for your opposition to overextend on a shot. Simon Oliveira is not 5'4". I don't really. It felt more like the opposite. I don't really know how they came to that conclusion that he's 5'4" and David Martinez is 5'7". That's just what it's like. It looked the complete opposite in there. Um, Raul Rosas Jr., Vince Morales. Yeah, I mean, this was not a really great performance. Raul Rosas basically won off of a half back take. It wasn't in the second round. It wasn't really a full back take. He was mostly just riding him out, and because Vince Morales didn't really do anything in that round, anything significant, he basically won off of just controlling the back. And it wasn't even really like a full back take. He was kind of like leaning on the side of it. So it wasn't really a great performance for Raul Rosas Jr., but it's what I expected. I didn't expect Vince Morales to lose in a dominant fashion. I'm surprised how many people were picking submission here because I've watched Vince Morales in his last few fights and I know that he's actually good. It's just that he's not great anywhere. He just got some decent ground game. Not quite Raul Rosas level, but he's also got some okay boxing and not great kicks, but he's a well-rounded guy who if you actually feed him the bums of the bantamweight division, he'll definitely roll through them. So yeah, I actually think Vince Morales is a little underrated, but obviously he's on a three-fight loss streak now, so that's not great for him. CJ Vergara and Edgar Chairez, I'm glad that they cut CJ Vergara, just for the fact that he's not gonna win any more fights in the UFC. I actually forgot if he even did. I'm pretty sure he did. He won like two fights in the UFC. Yeah, I mean he's like one of the lowest level of the UFC flyweights there was, and honestly, like it's a great performance from Edgar Chairez, but it's CJ Vergara. Let's be honest. I like what he said in the post fight interviews. That's great to see him come from humble beginnings and talk about. I think his. I'm not gonna say like which specific relative because I don't want to mess it up, but I know that he had like a relative that was paying for him sold off the car to get him the training for the UFC, and that's a really great story. Love to see it. I hope that he makes it further in the division and in the UFC. Great stuff from him. He might end up being a bantamweight in the future if he can't make the weight, seeing as he's quite a big, tall guy for the weight. And Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober. I mean, yeah, this was pretty clear that Drew Dober is just not the same guy. I knew he would be out of the prime. I mean, it's exactly what I said in the prediction video. Yes, Manuel Torres got cracked by a 6'3" longer, rangier counter striker, but Drew Dober is just not that. He's a gritty body kicks, leg kicks boxer. Other than the boxing, he just has body kicks and leg kicks, which aren't even that full force. They're kind of flimsy. His body kicks are okay, but His leg kicks are kind of just, measuring the distance, just trying to get into range, trying to mix things up a little bit. Aside from that, he mostly just has gritty boxing, and he's like the lightweight modern Clay Guida, I would say. And well, actually, Clay Guida is a lightweight, I think. I forget if Clay Guida is lightweight or featherweight, but I think he's lightweight. Either way, I think he's like the more youthful Clay Guida, which is saying something. It's surprising and saying something, seeing as, Drew Dober is not youthful. Yeah, I don't think that his boxing is all that. And Manuel Torres sniped him beautifully. Really, really showing levels here. It looked kind of like, to me, like Manuel Torres was implementing a similar thing that Ignacio Bahamondes implemented onto him, which was like the beautiful straight punches down the pipe when the other guy is just overextending on these short, loopy punches. That's kind of what it felt like here. Great job from him. It's what I said in the prediction video. It's just a matter of the guy is more, um, you know, more like youthful and better chin and uh, longer, taller. It's just like every advantage in the book. And Brennan Moreno and Steve Erceg. I mean, Steve Erceg, I thought they won off of. I already said I thought he won off jabs, a few leg kicks, a few body shots, shots around the guard, mostly on the guard, to be honest. The shots that were like loopy around the guard, they were kind of mostly landing on the guard. But Brandon Moreno was whiffing on a lot of these overhands, and yes, he was landing some decent leg kicks. But I mean, listen, Brandon Moreno did what I thought that he should have done. This was not a unanimous 49-46. That much I know. And people with this narrative coming out of this fight that, oh my gosh, it was a clear Brandon Moreno win. I actually scored this 50-45. Some people are saying deluded, absolutely insane, terrible, terrible, like, opinions on this fight card main event. Absolutely crazy. Rewatch the fight. You won't, but if you actually take the time to rewatch it, absolutely no way you give that to Brenner Moreno. Second, third, and fourth, close rounds, but clear winner, Steve Erceg. And yeah, I mean, let's just jump into the next one. Josh Emmett and Lerone Murphy. I mean, I went 7-12 in this card, so not quite as good, but I got the biggest underdog of the card, so I'm definitely happy with that. And also there were some other like sus performances from these other guys where it's like you just couldn't really predict that. You just couldn't predict that Jonas Brito doesn't know how to sprawl on a takedown and he just commits to submissions over uh, takedown defense. But we got Talita Alankar versus Vanessa Demopoulos. And I mean, I just basically predicted that Vanessa would be more gritty, but Talita Alankar actually just kind of outmuscled her. She actually kind of weird to see actually just the strength difference because Talita's I mean she's not that much younger, but she's definitely younger. She's more green in the UFC. She's not as much experienced, if I could speak right there. It's just not same level. I mean, Vanessa obviously got a lot of robberies, so obviously I'm not saying that she's like not the same level of skill because she beat her, of course. But what I am saying is it's not the same level of experience, and usually these older females in the UFC or women, these older fighters, I should say, they're just usually winning off of gritty performances. And actually, it seemed like Vanessa was just not even grittier. She just wasn't even doing more. She wasn't even throwing much. More than a Talita Alankar, I understand that she was getting out grappled in certain situations as well, so that's why. But I mean, I just was surprised with how lackluster Vanessa's performance was. Although, to be fair, I didn't actually pay attention too much when watching this one. It was the first fight of the card, and I'm not really too interested in either fighter here. And Martin Bede and Oran Saltibaldiev. This is basically how I predicted it would go. I'm genuinely super, super, super surprised that most people were picking against Budai. Dude has a 40-pound advantage. It doesn't matter how much times Iran would have cracked Martin Bidet if he actually had the skills to do that. It's a 40-pound advantage. That's just going to aid your chin so much. It's just a no-brainer to me. And then Victor Henry, and also, yeah, he mostly won off of boring cage control, etc. It's what he's good at. And then Victor Henry and Pedro Falcao. I heard that Pedro was doing good in the second round with the leg kicks. I only saw the third round where Victor Henry was styling on him pretty much, and then in the first round, I actually saw I think a YouTube short that UFC posted. It was like Victor Henry dropped him. It might have been the third round, but I think it was the first. I'm pretty sure. This one's a little blurry in my memory, but I do remember Victor Henry watching some highlights, doing great in this fight. Aside from the second round, there was some suspicious moments, sus moments, I guess you could say. Yeah, I mean, good performance from Victor Henry though. Good boxing as usual, but I mean, it shows how good Charles Jourdain is at this weight class. I think, seeing as he actually, aside from a few hairy moments, I kind of outskilled Victor Henry. So Charles Jourdain is probably a decent bantamweight in the future to look out for. Lomolook booked me versus is Stella Nunes. Pretty much what I predicted. I think that Luma Look booked me is just a little better in the grappling, a little bit better in the Muay Thai, and I mean she's from Thailand, so of course she'd be better in that department. And you know she's fighting 6-5 opponent, 6-6 now. She is Stella Nunes should be cut from the UFC. Not much else to say on this one here. Pretty expected performance. Just better at the Muay Thai. And Reese McKee and Daniel Frunza. This surprised me because, yes, I definitely thought that Reese McKee would have the edge in the striking a little bit, but I thought it would be close enough to where Daniel Frunza can land the big shots, and he was doing that, but it wasn't quite the same. Reese McKee was more technical, he was more sharp, he was faster as well, and Daniel Frunza was more like that wrestler sort of big meaty shots, these like more loopy shots, and straight punches beat looping shots, you guys. Straight punches beat looping shots, you guys. That's like Weasel's favorite quote. Straight punches beat looping shots, you guys. But yeah, that's basically how it went. I was expecting him to grapple a little more as well, but look, it is what it is. Reese McKee, good win, good underdog too. Not the best underdog, which I got, but you know, good underdog for Reese McKee, underdog win. Uh, Dione Barbosa and Diana Belvita, similar first names actually. Similar names in general, I would say, just in the pronunciation. I definitely think that this went as expected. Diana Belvita, she even retired after this. She admitted that she's like not cut out for fighting really. Um, a similar situation with Vanessa Demopoulos. She was like saying, "Oh, to go from where I came from to become a UFC fighter, it's like." Yeah, you got signed because you're a gritty boxer and you don't real and you throw some flimsy kicks and you were fighting like literal trash bombs. It just putting it how it is. It's just like you're not cut out for the UFC. You never were. You just kind of you had some gritty boxing and Uncle Dana liked it. That's all it was. So yeah, Diana Barbosa beats up on Can Diana Bobita. And Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin. I mean, yeah, this was most boring fight I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even joking. Um, for me, at least. I mean, maybe you could argue that Mario Batista's performance was a little more boring, but I think this takes the cake. This was just so hard to watch. I was just not interested. I was expecting Robert Valentin to go for more submissions here. I think that that's because that's his thing that he's gotten more wins off of than actually KOs lately. I was expecting more submission grappling from him, but he wasn't committed to the striking or the grappling enough. He was sort of 50-50. He was stuffing takedowns, but then when he got taken down, sometimes he would go for submissions. So it was kind of like, okay, either try and stuff the takedowns or go for the submissions. Just go for one or the other. Yeah, I mean, Torres Finney, very boring. I just not impressed with either guy here. I don't know why Robert Valentin's in the UFC. And also on the topic of Dion Barbosa and Diana Belpita, I think that Dion Barbosa is actually a decent prospect, I must say. There was something else I was going to say, but I forgot. Moving on, Ode Osborne and Louise Gruley. I think that this is the pick, okay? Again, best underdog of the card, and I got it, okay? So, Ode Osborne, sick reach, sick boxing, sick power. Now, granted, sometimes if you're just that next level of explosiveness like a Manel Cap, he can absolutely just take you out. But that's not what happened here. Luis Gruel, I was watching his like contender series fights or fight, and it was like a split decision, and it was like he was throwing like completely untelegraphed hooks that were just kind of, it was like what I was saying about Diona Barbosa, Diana Belbita, and then Talita Alencar, Vanessa Demopoulos. It's like those two girls had lost. They're just kind of gritty boxers, and that's what Luis Gruel showed to me. And then in this fight, yes, he got the takedown, granted, but Odie Osborne worked his way back, and then he worked his way into the fight. And then in the second round, he just found his timing, landed beautiful shots, and then Luis Gruel that he knew that he needed to go for it, so he went for I think it was a body kick, and then he went into tried to go for an overhand or something, and then Odie Osborne just slipped, and then beautiful like right hand, I think it was. It might have been left, but I'm pretty sure it was a right hand. Oh, left actually, left hook, yeah. Um, beautiful timing. I think that Odie Osborne is underrated. I think that he beat Ronaldo Rodriguez, and yeah, I'm looking forward to his next fight. People were doubting him way too much in this fight. Just because the dude has 10 and 0. Oh my gosh, you guys don't watch his fights. If you actually think that just the record is enough, you guys don't watch his fights. And then Brett Tavares versus Gerald Meerschaert, pretty simple. I mean, GM3 is decent in the grappling, but Brett Tavares has insane takedown defense, and he has a slightly better boxing and more accurate shots down the pipe, whereas Gerald Meerschaert has a little more loopy shots. Pretty simple. Not much else to say on this one. And then Chang Ho Lee versus Cortavius Ramios. I actually thought that Cortavius Ramios actually was doing way better in the striking. If you actually go back and rewatch, he was actually landing a lot more than what it looks like. Chang Ho Lee was kind of just swinging on the feet. Now Chang Ho Lee looks insane on the ground. He definitely, he sinks up that sinks in that body triangle amazingly, beautifully. And he looks like such insane top pressure. He definitely reminds me of Khabib in some way, and he does want to be like Merab as well. He said in the post-fight interview, so that shows me that he wants to gain cardio as well. So he wants to mash up with the two in that regard. Now he is almost 31, so that is worrying for him as a prospect because how much time is he going to get to the top of the division? But these South Korean guys that they're coming up, they got insane grappling. I think that Contavious Ramios, it was actually working against him in that he was trying to go back and engage in the grappling over and over again. He did that like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, no, actually, you've been working up to the feet, and then now you're going back, following him back down to the ground. What are you doing? He was actually, people are talking about this. If he actually implemented that plan where he just gets up and works on his striking, he was winning the striking exchanges, in my opinion. So I actually think that Cortavius could have won this with the right game plan. It sucks that he didn't, but I mean, Cheng Ho Lee, when he gets it to the ground, amazing top pressure. Definitely a prospect to look out for, especially if he could get guys to the ground more efficiently. And Pat Sabatini versus Joanderson Brito. I mentioned earlier that Joanderson Brito doesn't really have good sprawls on takedowns, doesn't really have good takedown defense. He mostly just if he gets almost taken down or if someone shoots on him, he's just gonna rely on the guillotine there. That's how he got the ninja choke on the JSP Jonathan Pierce. It was mostly because it was a sloppy takedown from Jonathan Pierce, and he capitalized off of it, and then he found the submission. He found the way to transition it, the bad spot into a good spot, and then he eventually just yeah. But it's like Pat Sabatini. It's just that's not going to work against him. Who works more on control time, who works more in position over submission. As I mean, Jonathan Pierce. Yeah, he's also kind of like that, but he's not nearly the same guy, and you know that because Pat Sabatini beat him as well. I'm pretty certain of. So it's like. Um, I was mostly relying on the fact that Joanderson Brito was working on his grappling defense and that he would be able to work back up to his feet. And Pat Sabatini, he's small. He's not the biggest guy for the weight class. He's built, but he's not the biggest guy. So I thought that Joanderson Brito also had better takedown defense than he did. But I guess I didn't watch enough tape on that, or maybe he just didn't show enough takedown defense. But either way, yeah, he just kept getting taken down over and over. Very boring, in my opinion. It was like a worse Sean Brady versus Leon Edwards. It was like he wouldn't even try and go for anything interesting. He just kept going for that guillotine. I guess maybe he thought that he could get a Hail Mary guillotine, or maybe transition that into a ninja choke like he did before. Either way, it was a very bad performance from Joe Anderson Brito. And a good one from Pat Sabatini. That's two wins in a row now. Lerone Murphy versus Josh Emmett. Pretty much exactly how I thought it would go. I mean, Lerone Murphy, actually, I think it was a 49-46. I'm surprised two judges gave it 48-47. And I'm also surprised that most people, I mean, not most people, but some people on MMA YouTube are picking or saying 50-45. Definitely, both cards are wrong. I think that Josh Emmett definitely won the first round, and then it was just all around Murphy from there. Josh Emmett kind of tricks people into thinking that he's actually, not taking that much damage by the fact that he has these big arms and that he's covering up really well with them. He keeps a really nice high guard. And so, even though there are some shots that are getting through, it doesn't look like it sometimes. So the judges just think, oh, well, he's guarding most of that. And then Josh Emmett comes back with these big, heavy overhands that kind of go bump off the shoulders and bump off the guard. But, oh, he's loading up a lot. So it looks like he's doing something. Overall, I was predicting this right. Lauren Murphy just has better one-twos, better feints, better kicks, teeps to the body, spinning shots as well, spinning back kicks, spinning back fist, I think there was as well in there. Just and it wasn't like unintelligent spinning attacks either. It's just like everything is very very deep. He has a very deep tool bag, and Josh Emmett, it's just the old school. It's just showing that his style is dated. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Masked MMA out.